Hi there, welcome to my latest 10-minute rant, and before I start, just wish you all a happy new year. Hopefully you all have a healthy and prosperous 2024. So the topic of this rant is a project called Show Them the Door in 2024, which is something that I'm going to drive myself, and if anybody wants to join in and help out and do similar things, then absolutely fantastic. But my idea is that in 2024 we start to show the SNP the door. The whole project would take a wee bit longer, possibly into 2025 or the start of 2026 to fulfil all its ambitions, which is to remove power from the SNP. But 2024 is a massive opportunity to make some headway in that. One of the biggest reasons is the anticipated general election at Westminster will take place, which would be a massive step in showing them the door. Now, my appeal is not just to unionists like myself and folk who are anti-independence, but to all Scots, to be honest with you, because I see in ever-increasing numbers Scottish people who desire independence coming on to my videos in the comments and even talking to me in the public in normal, offline settings, and tell me about their displeasure with the SNP. A lot of them actually think the SNP are now withholding and preventing their desire for independence for Scotland. So what I'm about to discuss, it's not just for unionists to protect the union, it's for anybody that's Scottish that actually understands that the SNP are ruining this country. Now, you could argue that's in their drive for independence, but regardless, even if we were to get independence tomorrow, the state the country's in just now would take generations to repair. So what I'd like to do is appeal to all Scottish people who actually have a concern for Scotland, whether you're a unionist or whether you're a separatist. Because the SNP are really upsetting massive numbers of the Scottish people, the population. Which, don't take my word for it. Go and dig about more non-unionist pages and websites and forums. A lot of people don't like them on both sides of the independence argument. So this is not purely for unionists. And what I think, three parts to this. One part's education, and then parts 2 and 3 are voting at elections. And what we've got to do as people who do not like SNP, anti-SNP people, is educate those in the middle ground. I keep talking, I'll tell you again, that there's people over on this side of the argument that it doesn't matter what you tell them or what the SNP prove to them, they will just vote on council elections, Scottish elections and Westminster elections, just vote SNP. They're out here. Probably best forgotten, because if you'd spend all your energy trying to convince these people that the SNP aren't as good as they think they are, you'd be as well walking up to that wall there and sticking your head clean in it, because you get as much use as talking to these people. So ignore them, let them live in their wee bubble that they lived in during the independence referendum of 2014, where, because everybody they knew and everybody they spoke to had a wee yes badge and stickers in their living room windows, they believed they were going to win that referendum. I actually believed them at some point. I was a bit concerned for the referendum, if I'm honest with you, in the lead up to it. However, see those ones that will just never ever hear a bad word, say a bad word, or vote against SNP, don't try and change your mind. Wasting your time. You get ones over here, like me, who will never ever vote for SNP. So, they're already done. Don't you worry about me. I'm never voting for them. We got to worry about, you actually need to come back to, there's a wee group in here that you do need to talk to enough. But for the main, it's this bit in the middle. People that, are a wee bit more open-minded and they're no cult members. And between now and the UK elections, it's just share things, and I'm not talking about my stuff. Yes, share my stuff if you want, but there's loads of people out there who have similar feelings with SNP, producing stuff probably better than I could ever dream of producing, and infographics and articles and writing blogs. about how crap the SNP are and how much damage they're doing Scotland. They don't flood them with stuff that is anti-independence, because there might be people that really, really want independence that could be doing with no voting for SNP going forward. So try and find material that's truthful. Don't ever argue with a lie, wasting your time. Come back and haunt you. And make sure it's not heavy anti-independence, because that's not the issue here. The issue is finding enough people that have lost faith in the SNP. And so that when it comes to important things, the next parts 2 and 3 of this idea, they'll vote in the right way. And they will not get to the voting thing and think, well, do you know what? Hey, baby boxes are not a bad thing. Free prescriptions that we've had for my whole life, that people think, oh, the SNP brought that, so they must be good, I'll tick their box. Make sure that they're able to make clear. And I'm not talking about brainwashing people. Give people facts enough to make their own judgment. I believe in the Scottish people when they're not getting lied to, and they can have their own thoughts and make their own decisions. They'll make the right decisions. But when they get brainwashed, kind of difficult. So we've got to try and make sure these people that are in the middle learn the truth about the SNP and how terrible they are for the country. Not just, because they want to break the union, because, they pawned one of our last national resources, which is the wind, that had us believe we were going to have free electricity almost going forward because we've got the best wind in Europe, apparently. We've pawned it for £700 million to foreign companies. Some of the companies now that own our wind turbines are other countries' national energy companies. We've pawned it. Now, that, to me, if I was a sort of middle-of-the-road person that might vote SNP, well, there's actually no chance I ever would, but if I was one of these people, but open-minded, I might think they've done what? So it's information like that, and I've got loads of going on my videos. You'll find loads of stuff, and don't need to go and share my stuff. Find a topic that you think, Christ, Craig makes a good point here, and go and look into it yourself and find out more information and make sure these people in the middle know. Then we get to part 2, which is going to not be that far away, and that'll be a Westminster election. Now, the polls as recently as this week are suggesting that the SNP could lose about 1/3 of their seats at the next, if there was to be a general election today. I'd love them to lose more than that. I'd love them to have no representation at Westminster, if I'm perfectly honest with you. And the only way we'll do that, or have a chance of doing that, is by tactically voting. Now, I know, because I was not involved, but I was a spectator in certain drives previously for Unionists to tactically vote. I'll be perfectly honest with you, it didn't work. Because some people are so stubborn that their own personal 32 seconds in that polling booth are more important to them than the future of Scotland. Because they either vote Labour or they vote Tory, and they'll never ever change their mind. I'm sorry, guys, see if you're one of them, it's time to put the big boy pants on and be a wee bit less selfish. Okay? I'm sorry if you're going to take offence to that, but I'll make no apology for saying it. Because that's one of the biggest problems the Unionists have when it comes to polling. And that is, nobody will tell me what to do, and I'm voting for them regardless. Now here's something to think of. If you do the same as what you done yesterday, and you do the exact same tomorrow, you'll get the exact same result. So as a country, if that's what we do, don't come crying if we ended up with another SNP Scottish Government going forward, which is a long-term aim, is that's not to happen, right? And the biggest dent is, but it's a Westminster one, it won't make any difference. It will make a massive difference. And let me explain why. If the Scottish people can show in force that they will not accept the SNP any longer, represent them in Westminster, and we made a massive dent in their seats at Westminster, their whole party will implode. Believe me. Because these people don't care actually about their party, they don't care about the country, they don't care about me and you. All they care about is themselves. And if you need any education on that, just go and have a wee look in the internet and Google. Okay? Give you an example. McGarry, right? One of the foot soldiers for independence, stole money, embezzled. And she's just standard. I could give you 10, but I'm not wanting to have a 20-minute video talking about that. I'm having a 10-minute video talking about how we can get rid of these people. So they don't care. So if they start losing seats in Westminster, see all those ones that have lost their seats and lost their wee easy jobs and whatever, they're not going to be happy. They'll want a seat in the Scottish Government, and they'll all start arguing about who should, I want to be up for election at the next Scottish election and all that carry on. Humza will suddenly be brandished a loser. They won't want anything to do with them. The people who still subscribe to them as members will suddenly think, well, what's the point? Because they've got nobody down at Westminster, or 5 or 6, whatever number we can get it down to. And they'll start losing faith in them. And then becomes a big one. Because in about between 18 and 24 months there'll probably be another Scottish election. And that's the biggie. That's the end game. Destroy them in 2024, show them the door in 24, get them out of Westminster, show them up for what they are in the public, and educate people. Don't tell them lies, don't try and brainwash them, just tell them truthful statements about the SNP. So that when the big one comes, the next Scottish election, that's when we really need the big boy pants on, and we really need to tactically vote. And I'm really, really sorry if you're a dyed-in-the-wool Tory or the staunchest Labour supporting family in the history of Labour supporting families in Scotland. If your area means you have to vote for somebody you maybe don't want to vote for, as long as it's not the SNP, then we need to have the guts to do it. And if it's for one election, that's all it'll take. Because what will happen is, if they lose power in the next Scottish government elections, they'll be insignificant. That'll be it. SNP will be over. Believe me, mark my words. If we could oust them for the Scottish Government in the next election, make a big dent in the Westminster election, between now and then educate everybody that you can, that'll be it. SNP, if they started and continued after that point, there would be SNP Green Party levels that, they'll get possibly a few people from the regional votes the following elections. And what would happen then is probably need to be a coalition. And I don't care. I genuinely don't care who it is. And it more likely, obviously, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, if they're actually true to their words and they want to get rid of the SNP, then they'll need to have some serious big boy talks. Because that's probably the answer to make Scotland a better place. And I'm not talking about them being cuddle-boozle buddies. I'm talking about them serving one term in a coalition together for the sake of Scotland. Because that's what it needs. And I know it sounds bizarre, but it could work. And the reason it could work is dead simple. Just split the government roles in half and say, right, or whatever, 2/3, I don't care, just whatever represented the amount of seats you had. And say, right, well, agriculture, you look after that, finance, we look after that, immigration, we look after that, right? And just split all the roles down in a proportionate way and just get on with each other. And leave your party attitude at the door for one session of the Scottish Parliament. And this country would be guaranteed better than it is just now. And I don't care if it was Tory or Labour that had, the health minister. As long as they understand, they're not there to start, doing the usual party politics, shite in a government where you just want to shout across the floor at each other, whether that's in Holyrood or Westminster. But you put a big boy pants on for 4-year term and say we're going to sort Scotland out, right? We're not going to fling pies at each other for 4 years. We're going to get our asses, heads down, arse up, and sort this job. And I genuinely think it can be done. And the reason is, I genuinely believe that the SNP do not have a good skill pool of actual politicians. Do you know what I mean? We've got a woman that given out the last budget, it's got absolutely zero ability or experience in commerce. Standing up delivering a budget. No finance experience. But because of the Tory party and the Labour Party are more traditional and long-term bodies, then I do actually have a bit of faith that they would be able, between the two of them, be able to find people that were good enough to fill these much needed roles and say, right, let's just start with a fresh bit of paper. Let's look at our health service. Why have we got people, over 100 people per day, waiting over 12 hours in waiting rooms in the summer over the last 3 years in Scottish hospitals? Why is that happening? Let's have a look at it logically. Let's not just, have bun fights in Parliament. Let's sit down round a table and sort the bloody job out. And do that for transport, and do it for education, and do it for drug deaths. And I'll guarantee you, as long as the SNP are not at that table in any form whatsoever, and as long as the Scottish Tories and the Scottish Labour Party can actually just, do their best for Scotland for 4 years, this country could be unrecognisably better than it is today. So there you go, guys. That's my thoughts. Show them the door in 2024. But it would take a wee bit longer to get the final result. But the work needs to get done in 2024, educating people, and the general election that's coming up for Westminster. That's very, very important that that's sorted out this year. And guarantee you, 2025/2026, next Scottish elections, but damn sight easier. Okay, so as usual, you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit subscribe and the notifications. There'll be another video round about here in a minute, a second or two that I'd recommend you watch. And all that's left to be said is, have a great day. Bye now.